Radiogram. I'm Kim Andrew Elliott in Washington. This is edition number 2 of VOA Radiogram, an experimental Voice of America program. We will take the digital text modes of the amateur radio community and transmit them on this analog amplitude-modulated shortwave transmitter. We're doing this because shortwave transmitters might be a useful link when the internet is disrupted by disasters, dictators, or other causes. Sometimes it's useful to have news and information in text format, and occasionally in poor shortwave reception conditions, when the announcer's voice is difficult to understand, text might get through with much greater reliability. You can decode these text transmissions yourself. You need the shortwave radio you are listening to right now. You also need a basic personal computer. Use a patch cord to connect the earphone jack of your radio to the microphone input of your PC. If you don't have a patch cord, try acoustic coupling, which is simply a matter of placing the speaker of your radio next to the built-in microphone of your laptop. Finally, you need software. There are many good software programs used by radio amateurs for both encoding to transmit and for decoding to receive. These include MixW, Multi-PSK, Digital Master 780, and FL-Digi. FL-Digi has a companion program called FL-Message that we will use later in the half hour. Download FL-Digi and FL-Message from w1hkj.com. That's Whiskey 1 Hotel Kilo Juliet.com. If you don't have your decoding software installed or working yet, just record this program and decode the modes later from your recording. Please let me know your success or lack thereof in decoding the text we transmit during this half hour. Our email address is radiogram@voanews.com. That's radiogram@voanews.com. The website with the VOA Radiogram transmission schedule and other useful information is voaradiogram.net. That's voaradiogram.net. In the first VOA Radiogram, we featured the PSK text modes. PSK stands for Phase Shift Keying. I want to thank all of you who responded to the BPSK and PSKR test transmissions on VOA Radiogram. If your decodes of those PSK samples were not always perfect, or were complete gibberish, you might have better success today. We will transmit several samples in the MFSK mode. This is a robust mode with full-time forward error correction. MFSK stands for Multiple Frequency Shift Keying. By multiple frequency, we mean multiple audio frequencies or pitches, while the PSK modes are more or less a steady tone. More than one tone at more than one pitch. As an example, let's hear the slowest MFSK mode, MFSK4. It prints out at 18 words per minute. Centered at 1500 hertz on your waterfall, I will need 40 seconds just to send the name of this program. And you will need a few seconds before the text even begins to appear on your display. You could definitely hear the multiple pitches of the tones. Now let's step up to more practical speeds. The MFSK 16 mode at 58 words per minute is often heard on the amateur radio bands. Here is 1 minute of MFSK 16 centered on 1500 hertz. VOA Radiogram on the Voice of America. I'm Kim Elliott in Washington. Next on the menu is MFSK 32, which at 120 words per minute is approaching a speed that could be useful for broadcasting. And based on my early experiments, MFSK 32 could prove to be a workhorse of text via shortwave broadcast. In addition to the mode we use, another consideration is the audio frequency on which the mode is transmitted. So let's try MFSK 32 at two different audio frequencies. First, 1000 hertz. This will be 1 minute. Noise or interference on the frequency, in most cases it will be concentrated in audio frequencies down around 1000 hertz. So let's move the MFSK 32 up to an audio frequency of 2500 hertz. Here is that same minute of content. Did the higher audio frequency improve your ability to decode? Now let's compare MFSK 32 to its competing mode, PSKR 125 at 110 words per minute. In the previous VOA radiogram, which featured the PSK modes, we had some success with PSKR 125. So again, centered at 2500 hertz is this minute of PSKR 125. This is VOA Radiogram on the Voice of America. I'm Kim Elliott. Please let us know your results in decoding these text transmissions. Our email address is radiogram@voanews.com. That's radiogram@voanews.com. Our website is voaradiogram.net. We'll move up to modes that sail along at 200 plus words per minute. First is PSKR 250, featured in VOA Radiogram 1 at 220 words per minute. Still centered on 2500 hertz, this VOA news story is 1 minute, 15 seconds. Now compare that PSKR 250 with the next mode, MFSK 64. You'll notice that it's 1260 hertz wide. It's also a bit faster at 240 words per minute. Again, centered on 2500 hertz, the same VOA story, 1 minute, 15 seconds. So did you have better luck with PSKR 250 or MFSK 64? Next on the agenda, we'll try the MFSK 64 mode with a VOA news story formatted for FL Message. To make FL Message work with FL Digi, open your FL Digi, click on Configure, now click on MISC or Miscellaneous, then click on NBEMS. Under Reception of FL Message Files, click Open with FL Message, and click Open in Browser. Under that, state where your FL Message file is located. To give you some time to do that, let's listen to this.
The VOA Radiogram email address is radiogram@voanews.com. That's radiogram@voanews.com. The website is voaradiogram.net. There you can find the VOA Radiogram schedule and information about digital text modes. URL again is voaradiogram.net.
Now in our MFSK 64 mode, a VOA news story about a company that manufactures airborne drones. It's formatted for FL Message, so you'll see some code along with the text. If your FL Message software is working, when the transmission is completed, the story will pop up in an FL Message window. Then it will pop up as a formatted web page. This is again centered on 2500 hertz and will be 3 minutes, 7 seconds. Radiogram on the Voice of America. I'm Kim Elliott bringing you strange noises as we try something new on an old shortwave broadcast transmitter. We'll do one more comparison of the PSKR and MFSK modes, but now we're moving to speeds above 400 words per minute. Often these faster modes do not decode well under shortwave conditions, but sometimes they do. So we'll try them and see what happens. First is the PSKR 500 mode at 440 words per minute. We're moving the center frequency to 2,000 hertz for a reason I'll explain in a minute. This VOA news story will be just under 1 minute. The reason we moved to 2,000 hertz on your waterfall is to make room for the next mode, MFSK 128. It's 2,000 hertz wide. Also, the RSID might not work on this mode, so I recommend that you manually change your mode to MFSK 128 and move your cursor to 2,000 hertz. MFSK 128 is 480 words per minute, and this VOA news story is just under 1 minute. One useful feature of the MFSK mode is its ability to transmit images as well as text. I have not been able to transmit images in versions of MFSK faster than 32, so we will use MFSK 32 to send this image of the airborne drone that was the subject of the VOA report by Michael Sullivan. Let's stay centered on 2,000 hertz. This transmission will be 1 minute 40 seconds. might not be able to make out in that image is that the drone has 6 sets of spinning helicopter blades. For now, we are decoding text and images using the various fine software programs developed for the amateur radio community. Ultimately, we hope that applications will be available that simplify the decoding process. First, we need to determine which is the mode that works best in shortwave broadcast situations. Well, we've had a busy half hour decoding various text modes, especially those of MFSK, multiple frequency shift keying. Thank you for participating. Please let me know if you had success or even if you did not have success. Our email address is radiogram@voanews.com. That's radiogram@voanews.com. The website is voaradiogram.net. It's a good idea to check that site before the next VOA Radiogram to find out if there are any frequency changes. The URL again is voaradiogram.net. Thanks to colleagues at the Edward R. Murrow shortwave transmitting station in North Carolina. I'm Kim Elliott, inviting you to join us for the next VOA Radiogram. This is VOA, the voice of America.